So today's topic are more major shipping issues that are seriously affecting our business at this point. Hey, it's Don. Today we're going to talk about some shipping issues that we've been dealing with through shipping on eBay. Now, these are all items that were shipped through eBay's international shipping option. This is the one that replaced the global shipping program. We've had some issues where the items never made it there. We've had some issues where we were forced to refund the items. In these cases, some of them have shown back up months and months and months later after the fact of the refund. I'm really interested always in seeing what was stamped on one of these and what happened with the packages to see if it was something that was an honest mistake or it was some sort of scam or something like that. Now, I've had several returned going to Canada, and these were all, again, through eBay's international shipping option. Haven't had it with any of the ones we've sent in the past, sent directly to the country, not going through eBay's program. I cannot say for sure that it has anything to do with eBay's program, but none of these issues started to pop up until that. Now, here's one that was returned right here, and hopefully you can see it. I do have the addresses blotted out. This is my return address, which the post office circled here. Again, let's show you this little stamping that they put on it. Here's the stamp, and it literally says that I am missing. It's incomplete because it doesn't have the full legal sender recipient name required. Now, we are a legal entity. I am a business. We have an EIN. We're registered with the federal government as well as registered in my state as a DBA for my specific business. We've used the same shipping information on packages since I can remember, more than a decade. We follow all procedures. The address that's printed on this comes straight through eBay, and it's, again, a legal name. It is our full legal name that we are legally allowed to use. Now, I looked up into this. I looked up into this very extensively just to make sure I'm not missing some new regulation. There is a web page listed on here, and, of course, I did go to it. It is the inspector's office, the U.S. Postal Inspection Office there. And it tells you exactly where to go and what to click and stuff. Now, going to that site, there's not a single solitary header or anything else that matches what it says there should be. So I go to the search options and look again to see it mentions actually code IMM section 123, and it lists report compliance. So I looked up all this. There's no comments on any of this whatsoever on the site that's mentioned on the slip. I couldn't even find an exact copy of this slip anywhere else other than on packages that come through eBay's international shipping option. I don't know for sure this is an eBay sticker or if this is a actual serious postal sticker. I have no idea where these are sorted at. It's just a little peculiar that all of the packages that this issue has happened to, and it's happened to more than one, I think there's 3 running right now in this last year or so, have all been eBay's international standard shipping option. Again, the replacement for global shipping. So in this case, everything that I can see on here is correct on my behalf. Now, it's been returned to me. The postage is no good. So from everything I can find out, and I went to the U.S. Postal Service's main site. I logged into my account that I've had for years with the post office and looked for the rules on this as well. Now, it's all legal. Everything's registered properly. All the correct identification, all the correct contact information is done there with the state's office as well as with the federal government. That's how you get an EIN number, was with a business. It would be like making Jeff Bezos sign anything that was shipped out of Amazon with his name on it as the person of interest in it. That's not how it works. I understand that. Now, I did reach out to the post office. I don't see anything wrong, and I couldn't get any response that there was anything wrong with the package itself. So the only thing I can say is it's costing us now, when this doesn't go through, $12 or so in shipping to resend this item out. I don't know at this point how I could recoup the money from this issue through the post office. Whether it's correct or not, I've asked. That's what they say. That's what it is. The shipping's ruined. It has to have new shipping on it. End of story. So I'm out $12 or $14 to ship this international. Now, it's a $60 item in this case, so it's worth me at least sending out. I have about $2 into it. I'm still losing profits, losing money, losing time, and losing potential reputation because this hasn't arrived at this point. It just showed back up here. So we're having serious issues with international shipping going through eBay's international options. Again, I can't say for sure it's eBay specifically, but it's happening far too much the way it goes in. Now, here's another one. Now, again, I've got posties covering up addresses and things like that. These labels were on this package too, but I was very careful in pulling them off to see what goes on in this one. This one was marked as never delivered, as lost. It never made it past Germany, and it was supposed to go to Italy. That's the tracking information that's online. I wanted to see what the process was, what eBay does with these packages prior to it. So again, I pulled off. This was the top sticker for my return. Underneath that one was another return one, so I can kind of see that this goes back to an eBay facility, and then they return it back through, and I think it was DHL overseas, and then to eBay shipping facility, U.S. Post Office. Now, this went from my house to the eBay's facility in Illinois, and from there it landed in Germany. That's the center, that's the distribution point, it appears, and the whole works. Interestingly enough, the label that they attached to it in Germany days and days after I shipped it says and shows that I'm signing it days later on there. And it only shows my eBay name. It doesn't show my personal name down here on this spot, which I thought was quite interesting, that it didn't have my full name on this form anywhere that I could see. That was just odd. And it was odd again that they redated it to state another date on it, a date that I did not sign this on. I thought that was really odd that it was redated. Again, that may not have any bearing on it. Well, considering this one never left Germany by all tracking standards online, it was puzzling that there was Italian stamps on it, cancellations up here, as well as some other ones, and some handwritten notices, which I tracked down. Basically, a notice was sent to the person who bought this item, and this item here costs $65. It's 2 individual purchases in here. This is one I had to refund. It never showed delivered. It never showed after that point that it would be delivered back to my area at all. Not at all. I was just assuming it was totally lost and out of control, out of my purveyance. It showed up 4 months later. 4 months after the fact, it did show up. I filed a report through eBay. I did use the global shipping, their international shipping options. So I did get most of the money of the sales back, but I still lost. I lost time, I lost effort, all this other stuff that I had to worry about tracking down. It did show back up. Now there's a loophole in the system. Italy has a 30-day plus gap where the person has to pick up the package once they give them the note. And I know that's the case because I did Google Translate on all the markings and writings on this package. A notice was sent out, which there's some dating information on it, the article number, which I was able to track down, so I know for sure it's talking about this package. No record that it even went from Germany to Italy, mind you. Now, I don't know if this German facility here is run by eBay. I don't know if it's run by the post office or what, but somebody put this label on it. Now, the loophole in here is that with eBay's shipping, once an item is gone for 10 days or more, it's considered lost. By the time you go through the process, it's about a 20-day window that you can play with to wait to see if the package shows up. But they can hold it for 30 days without an issue. So if the person just doesn't want to pay like an import fee or decides he doesn't want it later on, he just doesn't have to pick it up at all. And then, boom, you are on the hook for it. Even if it doesn't show back up, obviously you've got to refund the buyer on it. It's troubling, though, that, again, eBay had to look at it once again to send it back to the customer. This looks to be an eBay sticker at the eBay facility sending it back to me. And I say it has to be because it doesn't have my return address on it. It only has my actual eBay seller name on it. With a different date, again, they redated it and said I signed it on that date. So that's the troublesome part, that this return service label up here as well was probably an eBay facility, I would have to imagine at this point. O-R-D, and this is, again, Illinois. As I said, that's where one of eBay's facilities is at. So I'm assuming this label went on it till it got here, and then they relabeled it as return here. So there's a gap in how eBay's processes work and the time limit that these folks would have to come back and get it. Now, obviously, in this case, they never came back and got it. There's no comment on here. It literally states past the deadline 30 days in Italian. So, again, there's no way I can control an issue like this. And if the buyer is claiming that it wasn't there, which is exactly what happened with this. They opened a case and said it wasn't there, even though several notices were sent to this person. They're marked on here. I can see it. There's handwritten dates, timestamps, and the whole works on this package. So this person could just cost us money anytime they wanted to just by ordering stuff like this and just never picking it up. Now, with eBay, if you refuse a delivery it's supposed to be, or you just don't accept it, don't get it when you get a notice, the buyer is supposed to be on the hook for not picking it up. That's what I read in the user agreement. That's what I've been told by eBay employees on numerous occasions. Again, eBay would have had to have looked at this. They didn't take the time or concern to look at any of the markings on here to show the notices were sent and the person just didn't pick it up. They filed a report, so they're alive. They're still there. They would have received the notices. The address was verified by them. Everything else was verified. The correct address is on here to the recipient. They just didn't want it. They just said, screw it. I don't want it. I want my money back instead for whatever reason. Again, put me on the hook for $60. To get your money back from eBay's international shipping options can take a month or more. You have to go to a specific link and fill everything out. There's processing fees, so you don't get the total amount of your purchase back. If it was over a certain dollar amount, the eBay International is only for $100 basically. So if it's over that amount, you're SOL. Now, one of these had some money due. So I have to wonder if they didn't want to pay it and just decided they didn't want to mess with it. Either way, the fact that there's a 30-day allowable hold for an item to be picked up and only 20 on eBay means that somebody could just push it back, get a refund, and then go get the package still. They've got 30 days from the time it stops and sits there. Now, once a case is closed, and many of these times, you may not even think to go back. You may not even wonder. You just assume, hey, it's lost. They never saw it. Give them the money back, and off they go. There's no way on earth to know if they're ripping you off if it doesn't come back or you don't go and check. So another issue with this is I would always recommend, if you ever have to give a refund for a lost item, to keep checking back for at least another 10 or 15 days to make sure that they didn't go down to the post office after you gave them the refund and just go pick up the package. They'll get their money back, and they'll still be able to technically go pick up the package because it doesn't get returned from the post office for 30 days. So in all honesty, going forward, we're seriously rethinking the whole aspect of overseas shipping to begin with, because as I said, this is building up. Anyway, that's what I have for you today. Just a warning, be careful, be cautious. Think about what your policies are. Don't send something over $100 overseas without a different form of shipping. If you're going to send it overseas, you need to send it, say, priority or something with a higher shipping level if it's an expensive item, because you could easily lose that through a scam, through how eBay's policy works on refunding people versus how the post office's hold time is as well. That gap of days is what's going to screw you over. So anyway, that's what I have. Hopefully that gives you some ideas, some thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell all your friends.
Looking for good flavor in sugarless gum. We're looking for a new kind of sugarless gum that's carefree. Good tasting sugarless gum that's carefree. Carefree is sugarless. Sugarless is carefree. You know about sugarless gum, choose carefree. We found good flavor in sugarless gum. Chew Carefree, it's sugarless. Chew Carefree, it's good.
New Carefree from Beech Nut.